Hello, friends. I just wanted to take a quick minute to remind you guys to please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also, I've been trying to collaborate with a few YouTubers, but haven't really got the results I was hoping for. If you guys would like to see me collaborate with any channel, big or small, please let me know and let them know too. As always, I hope you enjoy and be well.
Face to face with an arsonist.
Hey everyone, this happened about 9 years ago when I was 15. To keep a long story short, it was a weekend, so I didn't have school, and my parents allowed me to spend the weekend at a friend's house who lived nearby. It was late at night on a Saturday when we walked over to a corner store to buy something for my friend's mom. On our way back, we spotted somebody walking up and down the street who we didn't recognize. He was a strange-looking fellow, overweight, wearing a hoodie and jeans. He looked at us as we passed him by and gave me a very odd look, which gave me slight goosebumps. Nevertheless, my friend and I went back to her place and the night continued. My friend and I awoke early the next morning to the sound of sirens and loud noises coming from the street behind us. I looked out the window and saw what nobody would want to awake to, a fire. By this time, my friend's mom had awoken and asked us to come outside with her, which we did. We all walked across the street to a neighbor's house and looked up into the sky at the smoke from the fire. Once the chaos had ended, my friend's mom inquired with a firefighter about what had happened. They didn't know the cause of the fire, but did say that a woman was taken out of the house and to the hospital. She ended up dying the next day. It was an elderly woman who I didn't know, but my friend's mom did. When we learned that an arrest had been made in connection to the fire, I was eager to see who it was, as was pretty much everyone else in town. When I saw this photo of the man, which is included in this news article, my jaw figuratively hit the floor. Well, I'll be damned. That was the same man that my friend and I had passed by the night before the arson. I couldn't believe it, and I still can't believe that I saw the perpetrator of a serious crime not long before the crime was committed.
Father Kane.
This story is from quite a long time ago, the 1980s. At the time, I was in middle school in a suburb in Pennsylvania. One weekend, I had planned to sleep over at a friend's house. This would normally involve riding bikes around the neighborhood and playing Nintendo until very late. But this time when I arrived, my friend Brian told me that he had to help out at his church. He said I could join and help too if I wanted, and having nothing else to do, I agreed. His family was very religious, and Brian was especially close to the pastor. Brian's mom dropped us off at the church, and we spent time moving chairs around and helping to pack things away. Brian introduced me to Father Kane, who seemed friendly and asked me a lot of questions about my family and if I went to church. I told him that we didn't, and I remember being worried that he would react badly, but he seemed fine with it. Sometime later, it was getting near dinner time, and Father Kane asked if we wanted to eat with him and then watch a movie. Brian seemed interested, and I thought, why not? So he called his mom and postponed the time she would pick us up. We went to Father Kane's apartment, which was attached to part of the church, and ate some dinner together. He asked me if I wanted a drink, and when we went to his fridge, he handed me a beer. My parents had allowed me to try alcohol if I wanted to, and I always thought it was disgusting. So I asked Father Kane for something else, and he gave me a soda. Then after dinner, we watched a movie, The Shining. Later, Brian's mom picked us up and we went back to his house. I remember talking with Brian at the time and agreeing with him that Father Kane seemed very cool. A couple of months went by, and one morning there was big drama at school. Someone asked me if I had heard the news and why Brian was out of school that week. Father Kane had been charged with molesting altar boys and had fled. It turned out that Father Kane had groomed boys over many years and had been molesting them in that church apartment, giving them alcohol and cigarettes and eventually sharing them with 2 other priests. Unusually for the time, they were all convicted and charged and went to jail, though it took heavy action by the parents of the victims to make it happen, and many years until they were sentenced. 30 years later, and this is definitely one of the creepiest encounters I've had with someone. In hindsight, what's maybe the most worrying is how at that age there weren't any alarm bells ringing, despite what seemed now to be obvious red flags. I just thought he was a nice, chilled out guy. We had been taught about stranger danger as kids, but he wasn't a stranger and was in a position of authority, so I didn't think to question his motives. Was a lesson to me how easily people with authority and respect in a community can get away with terrible things.
Strange car followed my boyfriend and me while talking on a walkie-talkie.
This happened earlier today, and I'm a little spooked, to be honest. There's no reason for anyone to follow us. There's literally nothing interesting about our lives. We work and we sleep, so I'm not really sure what to think about this. Maybe you all could throw some ideas out there. My boyfriend and I are currently living in a motel. We're between houses waiting for the new place to be ready for us to move in, and we decided to walk to the corner store for a soda. About halfway there, a brand new red Honda Civic with a folded over dealer plate slowed down next to us. The driver was wearing a hat and sunglasses on his head and looked directly at us and kept pace until we turned into the store parking lot. As we were in the checkout line, we looked out of the window and saw the dude sitting in his car and talking into a radio in a fast food restaurant parking lot, still staring at us. We walked out of the store, and when we got to the road, the guy pulled into the store parking lot, turned around, and got behind us. He kept a steady pace again, probably about 40 feet behind us, and pulled into the motel parking lot next door to ours. We got inside our motel lobby and looked out of the window and saw him pull out of the next door parking lot and into ours. He pulled up next to a white 4-door Rubicon for a bit, then they both circled our building, one in one direction and one in the other. They stopped next to each other again after the fourth circle, then pulled out of the parking lot in opposite directions. Any clue what just happened? Whatever it was, I hope we never meet these dudes because I'm thoroughly spooked. Edit. Someone just called our room, was silent for about 4 seconds after we answered, then hung up. We're moving to another hotel tomorrow. Edit 2. We moved to a motel 10 minutes away from where we were. Hopefully this is the last update. Edit 3. This is our second night in the new motel, and we just got another silent call. What is going on?